Sales. So today we have with us Dr. Anvitha Prabhakara. Dr. Anvitha Prabhakara is an individual who has believed in going beyond stereotypes, and this best defines both her life and career journey. Dr. Anvitha Prabhakara, with her nearly 2 decades cross-industry expertise, has worked with Fortune 100 MNCs such as Castrol India, Aditya Birla, and Zee Networks. She is also an internationally certified 3rd degree black belt in combat arts, training since the last 15 plus years. A business leader known in the industry as the crisis turnarounder, Dr. Anvitha has seamlessly worked with budgets of both 400 crores in Fortune 100 MNC, as also with zero budgets in startups, leading to quadrupled businesses for her organizations. Dr. Anvitha has been recognized as Global Woman Leader and is the recipient of several global and national business awards. Prominent ones being AMEA Asia Pacific Awards, PMEA Asia, Wow Industry Awards, International Awards for Marketing Excellence. She is currently helping businesses rise to their potential best with the marketing, operations, digital upscaling, training, and business growth with her businesses consulting venture. A software engineer, MBA, and a doctorate from UK, Dr. Anvitha is on the advisory board of multiple mentorship programs. As a senior industry expert, she is invited all over as speaker and panelist at several prestigious marketing and business conclaves and the IITs and IIMs. Today, we at Navdurgas series of HCRM are immensely proud and happy to welcome Dr. Anvitha to share her journey and story with us. We welcome you.
Thank you, Riya. Thank you, Riya. That was a very nice introduction. And I'm very happy to be part of your Navdurgas series. It's a good thing, and that too of sales and marketing. So thank you. And of course, season wishings to you too and your team.
Yes, thank you. So you are an engineer, MBA, doctorate, and a 3rd degree combat artist, alongside being a corporate leader. So how did you manage to achieve all of this?
I would say I've been fortunate to be at the right place at the right time. That's one. Second, I would say I still have, it's not a had, still have an immense desire to keep learning. So that I think is the second thing. The third thing is, as I got opportunities, I did not let go of them. I think that's the third thing.
Right.
And a couple of them are incidental. Like for instance, martial arts was combat arts was nowhere in the picture. I mean, I never wanted to be a combat artist, but then one of my friends went, I accompanied her, and then, you know, we both joined, and she lasted a month. I am lasting 15 plus years and still going on, and it is a journey of life. It's not a hobby, it is my religion. So yes, so that's how things have just fallen in place. And I would just say that I think besides being lucky, and I don't really believe in luck, I believe in recognizing opportunities and, you know, making full use of it. I think I've just been a good student, and that's how, you know, it's happened.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So how did you get into sales and marketing?
Sales and marketing, I think I got into sales and marketing just as any other MBA person would have gotten into. Nothing special there. The entry is not special. Of course, I always wanted to be a doctor. I think that was always my first choice of profession as a child. But of course, you know how it is in families, especially for girls in those times. I'm quite old so, compared to you, of course. But so the second thing that I liked after medicine was, of course, the options then were only medicine and engineering, especially in Karnataka, because if you're a topper, then you have to go in these two directions. So engineering was the obvious choice, and probably that's the only decision in my entire life which I have probably not gone in the direction of my decision. But that said, engineering was fun. Second year onwards, when we got into computer science, I must tell you, I started enjoying it. Unfortunately, we belonged to that year, which passed out during the recession. So we didn't have campus placement. And then the obvious choice was two, which was one after engineering, get into call centers, because that was the only employment, or do an MBA. So unlike a lot of my batchmates, I did MBA. A couple of us did lighting MBA much later. I did MBA immediately as soon as my engineering was done, with a year's break of preparing for the CAT, so to say.
Yeah.
And then got into sales as an outcome of having taken MBA marketing specialization and campus placement, and that's how I got into Zee Networks, which everyone knows.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest media houses, one of the oldest media conglomerates in the country. So yeah, got into sales and marketing, and of course, marketing was interesting because when you start off with 2021, one's idea of marketing and sales are not two different things; they're the same thing. And one's idea of sales and marketing is अच्छा advertisement बनानी है तो हमें advertisement बनानी है. Of course, once we got into it, we realized it's much more than making advertisement. So that's how I got into sales and then moved into marketing. And then, of course, the current profile is a mix of everything put together.
Yeah. So I just want to know, how was your experience in Zee Networks?
Oh, in Zee Network is very interesting. I mean, as I think that was a great organization. It still is a good organization to join, especially as probably your second company. I say second because first is when I worked between engineering and MBA. I worked in an ad agency, so this was the client side of the ad agency. So of course, and Zee being the industry leader forever. Right now, of course, there are different players, but then Zee's been like an institution. People from Zee have gone to different media houses, and they're doing wonders there. So as a management trainee, it was very good because I think we went with stars in our eyes, thinking that we're all going to be doing brand management, right out of MBA college. But then reality is different. You need to know sales to be good at marketing. You need to know marketing to be good at sales. They go hand in hand while they're different. So the experience is amazing, and I'm very happy to say that my boss, my super boss, I'm still in touch with them. It's been 17, 18 years, and not just them, it's the entire team. We love each other, and we're all in touch. And only two of the entire team of about 15, 16 of us. And when I say 15, 16, I mean across the designations, across age groups, across gender groups. I think only two of them are still in Zee. Just everyone have gone in different directions, different industries, some in the media. We're all in touch. We're going to meet up very soon. So I think it was one of the best organizations when I compare it to my batchmates' first company experience.
Yeah.
It was very good. Yes.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So according to you, what skills are necessary to excel in sales?
In sales, I think that's a nice question. I think one must have the desire to kind of bag an order. I think that's like most basic. Okay. So I think that's that thrill that you get, like, after pursuing your client.
Yes.
And of course, it's different for different industries. Now that I've worked with different industries, I know how it's different for different industries. In certain industries, it's very simple to the product is simple, the brand is established. So your selling cycle is smaller. Sometimes the brand is established, but the product is a complicated product. Let's assume you're giving IT solutions for a company, or you're giving lighting solutions for a company, and entire infrastructure. So then those sales cycles become almost 6 months, sometimes a year, 2 years kind of a thing. So, and then there are intermediate products and brands. So I think that desire to have, to kind of, I'm going to get that client.
Yes.
That's the first skill. If you don't have that fire to want to back that thing, I think you're not meant for sales. You should do something else.
No, one should have that go-getter attitude.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think that you put it in a nice way. But again, go-getter is something that one would want to be in every aspect. Even if I'm a good artist, I'd like to be a go-getter.
Yes.
That's it. I think that's skill number one. Skill number two is, I think, you need to know your product and you need to know your customer. These are two things that's very important. I need to know what I'm selling. Okay, if I'm selling a phone to you, I need to know everything about that phone.
Yes.
And second, which is a byproduct of the same thing, is, okay, I might know everything about my phone, but what if you don't want a phone? So I also need to address that. I need to know you as a customer, and I need to know if you have the necessity of a phone, first of all. And well, if you have the necessity of a phone, then I should know everything about the phone.
Yeah.
Second, if you do not have the necessity of the phone, but I have a target of selling you the phone, then, maybe I should create that need. So I think sales is, again, it's all dependent on which brand and which industry that you work with. But one is that there is a need and you go fulfill that need. Second, there is no need, but you create that need. Like you might already have a phone, but maybe I want to upgrade you to a better Samsung model or a better iPhone model. So me being successful in being able to tell you, listen, don't be satisfied with your current model, upgrade. So I think that those are two things, which is a second point, which is know your product, know your customer.
Yes.
First is, of course, you have the desire. And third is be aware of your competition. I think this is most basic in all textbooks. You should know what your competition is selling. And by that, I mean, not just the model. Like if I'm selling a phone, it's not that, okay, if I'm selling iPhone, I should know what features Samsung has, but I should also know what's the news on the ground. What are the marketing campaigns that Mr. iPhone is doing? And how are his sales people are going and, winning customers, and how are we not winning customers? I think these are three things that there are a lot of skill sets and one needs, but I think these are top skill sets. And I think the fourth one, and I think this should be the last that I would say, is that you should know where you're doing mistake. Like, if there is if there is a script that you are following, or if there is a process that you're following in completing the completing a sale.
Right.
And you're probably getting stuck at one particular parameter or one particular stage of the life cycle where it's not converting. You're like doing everything perfect for 90%, the last 10% is not happening, or the first 10% only is not giving you a result. Then being able to acknowledge acha idhar galti hai, and then correct it. I think that is something which is a good skill.
And also, I think also that how you build your relations with the clients. That's the one of the important.
That is like the most obvious thing. You have to be people person.
Exactly.
And by people person, I don't mean people pleaser. That's not what I mean. You that point kind of gets covered in the second point when I say know your customer.
Yeah.
You should know your customer not just because you want to sell something to him, but also because you genuinely want to know that person. I want to know Ria, who is 24 years old and she's female, operating out of Bombay. These are her desires, these are her worries, and all of that. So I want to know the person, only then I'll be able to sell. So I think that goes without saying. So probably that's the reason I didn't mention it. So
it's like taking the biodata before you visit the client. Yeah, that's right. So there have been a very few women in top positions in sales. So according to you, why is it so?
I would have to disagree with you here, Ria. Maybe if you had asked me this question, probably a decade ago, I'd have to agree with you. But now it's changing. I mean, it's changed, I would say. See, again, it's not changed to 50-50, in terms of 50 women and 50 men. It's definitely not yet changed to that scenario. But nevertheless, I would say it's still 30-70, which is still a great number compared to, let's say, a decade ago or 2 decades ago. And if I have to still answer your question in a way as to why is it not 50-50 and why is it still 70-30, I think it's society as a definition, and it's the role as a definition. In sales or in marketing, you need to be out in the market for a long time. You need to understand your customers. You need to understand what's happening, right? So which means it's not going to be a pure desk job, 9 to 5, 365 days. It's not going to be that.
Right.
So it's really no more, about it being a gender bias, while there is a very clear differentiation. But I think it's upon the individual woman also. Supposing I am, as a person, if I want to go out and meet people, and if I'm okay with that kind of a job, then the number of sales people in sales will definitely increase. The number of people in marketing, number of women, not people.
Right.
And if I'm not that personality, then then I would prefer to do accounts or finance or HR or supply chain, where I don't have to go out in the field. So it's changing. Of course, in the past, environment was not conducive. If you're going to some village, you're going to some tier 2 town,
right,
there are no, bathroom facilities, and all of these issues come into place. Or if, let's assume, 2 decades or 1.5 decade prior, if women were in the workforce, in the sales workforce, a lot of women join in the sales thing. But after marriage or after children, if they are not allowed to continue, which is not the case now. So that is why I say that your question is not, I wouldn't say not relevant. It definitely is relevant, but the numbers are not that bad now. So I would say that. Yes. Right. Yeah. And in terms of sales, women in the sales and marketing senior positions, I would very I'd be very happy to tell you that a lot of CMOs are women, a lot across big and small companies. But yes, let's not pretend like we've achieved where we want to. It would be wonderful if we have better numbers. And I think we are in an era. Ria, you're also very lucky to be in an era where fortunate. Lucky is the wrong word. Fortunate to be in an era where we are heading in the right direction. Policies are being made in the right direction. So there are more and more women coming, and there are, when I started my career, I just had one woman, who was in the senior position. Now I see left, right, center. There are so many, including myself, who are in the leadership positions. So it's a great time to be in.
Yes, agreed.
Yes.
So, do you experience resistance when you're leading men?
That is a very good question. Yes, I would say yes and no. And I would say the yes and no for two reasons. Okay, like I would say it's both the men and the women's problem, if you can call it a problem. And the problem essentially, if you're talking it from the man's point of view, why would he have a problem, with a woman leader? I think that depends largely depends on the way he was brought up, his setting, his conditioning, his family background, or sometimes there are fantastic people who come from very conservative backgrounds, but they have realized that that method of thinking of a woman and a man and a woman cannot be a leader. They get out of that because they've gone out into the world, they've gotten educated, and they've been open-minded, right? So to learn and to adapt or adopt new ways of thinking. So from the man's point of view, I think the conditioning makes a huge difference, the way he's brought up and the way he has opened his mind as he born. From the woman's point of view, I think again here there are I would say two scenarios where if I come from a background, or if I come, when I say background here, it's really not of course the upbringing and all of that is on one side, but beyond that, if I'm going to assume as a leader, or if I have men reporting to me, and if I'm going to assume all men are not going to listen to me, if I make that blanket statement in my head, then I'm going to anything that the samne wala says, I'm going to perceive it as like, oh, he's telling me this because I'm a woman, oh, he's not listening to me because I'm a woman.
Okay, then you will take it as a negative thing.
I would take it as if everyone is out to get me, And unfortunately, we do have a history of that. Let's not pretend like that scenario is not happening. We have over the decades, not just the last 2 decades, but over the decades, women were not in the workforce, and obviously the men did not like the women in the workforce. It was a little strange, and not just in India, I'm talking across the world. Okay? We know it. Industrial revolution is what got women into the workforce. Economies is what increased inflation and change in economies is what got women into the workforce, and of course self-realization over the decades. So obviously the men folk are, in the past would not be okay. Now it's a little better. How have I dealt with it? I have had, that's all of this said, have I had scenarios where, it's been difficult? Yes, it's been difficult. Both as not just with with men reporting to me, it's also been difficult sometimes when I am reporting to men. There have been, early on in my career, there was a scenario where a super boss, made sexual advances towards me. And those were the days when POSH and all of those policies were not in place. So, if a woman complains, it's almost jeopardy. Like, I was warned that, you have just started your career, it's just been 2 years, and you want to complain against this industry stalwart. Are you like, khud ke pair pe kuladi marna type?
Yes.
But then, of course, I was like, no, nothing doing. This has gone too much and too far. And we will, if it means the end of my career, so be it. But I will not take this rubbish, So obviously, at that point of time, while I was being brave and courageous, I was also scared, right? But also because the policies were not in place, I was soft threatened and things like that. But of course, I think when you stand your ground and when you are in the right, then justice prevails. So, so that happens. Also, are there scenarios when men are reporting to me, they have a problem? I think till now I've not faced that problem, but I've had one scenario like that where I had a junior who had like a genuine problem. But I sat him down, and then you talk, I think whenever you have an honest conversation, there's nothing that cannot be resolved with an honest conversation, be it between friends, be it between employees, or be it between countries. So I think, I've had the conversation with them, and there are times, there is there is a scenario where, there is being taken for granted,
Yes.
theek hai, like,
Yeah.
there are those scenarios. So those are the times when I say that, or the way my teacher says it, you have to be a little bit of yin and a little bit of yang, a little hard and a little soft.
Yeah.
Because there's no point in letting
Yes.
go of who I am as a feminine energy, which is soft. I shouldn't want to let go of that and just become aggressive like a man for the heck of it. But women are, men are good leaders, women are also good leaders, but both are very different in their composition. So there's no requirement of me having to become a man, but there is definitely a requirement in supposing somebody's taking you for granted, somebody's overriding, or somebody is just not, like just looking down, then there is a little bit where you have to pull the string, but you can always do it nicely. And there's no need to become Kalima every time.
Yeah.
It's not like the world is against you. It's not like the men are against you. And really, we're in an era now where men, women are all walking,
Yeah.
shoulder to shoulder.
Together.
So
Yes.
together, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So keeping in mind the social and cultural thing, na, so it generally cuts down the women's confidence. So what do you think about it?
I didn't get your question. So it cuts down the confidence, and then
Like they starts to giving up things, right? So how will you encourage them or?
Okay, so there are two questions here. One is, their confidence. Why does it get shattered? Second, how do we work around it, right? So I think a woman's confidence getting shattered has so many aspects to it. It's not really. It's not really one boss not giving her a promotion that demotivates her. It's really not. Especially in India, I would say, it's, and probably not just India, probably across the world now that I, speak of it. It is a combination of a lot of factors. It would be, over, let's say she's given birth to a child, and over, the child growing from 0 to 2 years or 0 to 4 years, there's been that constant pressure at home, what are you doing working? You're supposed to look after the child. So
Yeah.
that's there in the back of her mind. Even if that was not there, supposing she had supportive parents and in-laws, but she has her own guilt. Oh my God, I have a small baby at home. Am I, women always want to be perfectionists. That's the big problem, right? I mean, across, and this is, I have seen this up. First, I thought it was my problem. I thought I was like that. Then I realized it's not just my problem, it's my entire generation's problem. Then I realized it's not just our entire generation, it's our, upar niche sabka problem yahi hai.
Yeah.
Then I thought maybe it's the educated class problem. Then I realized no, it's even the people who are, my cook calls us a perfectionist. It's crazy, like, the way she wants to be perfect in every aspect of her life, including, looking after her child. So I think that is the second problem that kind of creeps in, her own guilt. Am I being a good worker? Am I being a good mother? Am I a good wife? And if she's not married, oh, did I do a mistake by not getting married? There's so many. It's not always that the woman kind of gets stuck because of family. I won't say that a woman's career.
Yeah.
Even when for instance, when my scenario happened, the one that I mentioned. It was almost like, okay, like, now Tata Baba, you filed a big case, now your career is over. I was not married. So really it's different reasons. And I think it's always, it's accumulation of all of these points that kind of break confidence. So, I think it's not really as much as, so this is the why behind the problem. Now coming to the solution, is not really only about giving women the confidence. Like, I have a lot of mentees, some of whom are girls, some of whom have faced similar problems, as what happened to me 16, 17 years back. It's happening today also, despite all the policies in place. So it's not really only about educating women. It's not only about empowering women. I think all the women, if I recollect, just before our interview, I was kind of recollecting all the women that I have worked with, in the profession, in the career spectrum, or even my classmates, engineering and MBA classmates. Every one of them is brilliant, okay, because we just drive ourselves. It's just crazy the way we drive ourselves. So every one of them is very, very efficient. So really, is no more, maybe 10 years back, it was about, how to speak to your CEO, how to make the elevator pitch, how to make great presentations,
Right.
how not to be underconfident, how not to miss out on the smoking sutta breaks. It's no more about that, because I think all women are like really sorted that ways, at least in today's era. I think it's time that we educate the men, really.
Yes.
And I think that has to really come into force. And when I say educate the men, it's at so many levels. It's at the leadership level. when there is a genuine complaint of anything, it doesn't necessarily have to be only sexual harassment. It can be, my boss is instinctive towards me and he's not allowing me to grow. He's not giving me opportunities. So if there is a complaint, take that into cognizance. That's, I think, one. Second, obviously, the policies are in place. So just ensure that those policies are being implemented in the right way.
Yes.
Policies are not great when they're only in black and white and in your laptop. They're great when they are getting implemented. The third is, I think, so now companies are genuinely making an effort. This kind of answers back your previous question, the number of people in sales, the number of women in sales, marketing, and all other departments in organizations are increasing, right? So that didn't happen on its own. That didn't happen overnight. That happened because companies put policies in place. They said we want a minimum number of women in the workforce. So that's very nice. Okay, but then are they growing up till the top? That's the next question. You hire 30 boys and 30 girls as management trainees, but are all of them going up the ladder? That's the third thing that the organization conscious has to be about. And the fourth and the most important thing, I think, as a society, as parents, as teachers in school, as friends to my guy friends, as a teenager, as every role that one plays, man, woman, anyone, I think education to our boys have to be better.
Yes.
It has, and it cannot start like, I cannot educate a 40-year-old man about how he needs to treat his colleague in the right way. I have to teach him when that 40-year-old is a 4-year-old, and he does something nonsensical towards his friend who's a girl, who's a neighbor girl. That's when I, educate him. And the moment I do not do these gender biased, gender differentiated roles of, okay, only the daughter has to go and wash the vessels, only the son will just, eat and leave his plate right there.
Right.
I think education starts right there. And once we do that, then we don't have to struggle with putting policies in place. Even in school, I'm sure Ria, I'm sure it's been done with you guys also. If it's a co-ed school, if a boy is being naughty, then he's, the punishment is that he goes and he's placed between two girls.
Yeah.
I mean, it should not be a punishment. That's a good thing, right? So, there, these small gender differentiations, I think, as a society, we need to be very, very cognizant of it and, take actions accordingly. I think that will really change, there's no more work to be done on the women force. There's work to be done on the men.
I agree.
Yeah. And at the organization level. I think these are two things.
Yes. I agree.
You agree? You very nicely agree with everything that I say.
So what motivates you to do the best?
I think when I see output, it can be the simplest of things of output, like we bagged a sales order, or we did a great marketing campaign and it delivered. That's like really simple. Okay, I wasn't getting this particular combination of kicking and boxing.
Yeah.
So now or probably I'm getting the combination, but I'm not able to overcome my opponent. And 6 months down the line, I can overcome that opponent who's heavier, bigger, skilled. I think output is what drives me. Or I plan to lose 10 kgs and I managed to lose 10 kgs. Oh, great! That is the thing. Or my mentee was in a problem, or my friend was in a problem, and we took her through the problem, him or her through the problem, and we've seen good output coming out of it. I think this, I think output wherever, and that output can be anything. It can be like, all of us going to Navratri and having a great time. We danced, we're all so happy about it, right? So at the end of 3 hours of dancing, we're all very happy. That's a great output. So output is not necessarily only in the career thing. Career is only one pillar of your life. There are so many other pillars of your life, your family, your friends, and your happiness, your peace of mind, all of that, your financial status, all of that. So I think when output is there, I think I'm very driven. I get very excited. We worked for this and we got this output. So I think that's what motivates me.
So how difficult was it to build your personal brand?
Not really difficult. I don't even know if I really put efforts to kind of build my personal brand, very honestly. I mean, you've seen my LinkedIn, there's barely anything except all the links to the interviews that I've gotten called. And you've reached out to me. I have not reached out to a single, any of those interviews that you see, or any of those awards, or any of those jury thing that I've been invited to. I think it's a reputation that you build. You don't really build a brand. Of course, in today's world, you can be anything that you want to be. Like I could look like this, but on my Instagram profile, I could look like 1/4 my size, right? Because we have the tools to do that. So, if as a society, I think that's the only negative thing that we have as of today, that, you can be a different person online. But that won't last long, because so now if I am a certain type, and then when you meet me in real, you're like, ye to kya ho gaya? Like you're like completely different. Or if I project myself as a great marketing leader, and then when you hire me as a client and you realize I don't have any knowledge, it's not going to last, right? That brand image, I mean that image, I shouldn't even call it brand image. The image that I built, if it's not true, then it won't last. So I think so I don't really, I didn't set out to do that. Okay. So there's no difficulty that I faced, very honestly. But that's it. How did I build my brand? I think really I did not concentrate on building my brand. I just concentrated on knowing my subject very well, which was sales, marketing, whichever industry, whichever product. That's like knowing your content. Second, I just genuinely love people. So interaction with people, be it in the career front, be it outside the career, was genuine. The more genuine you are and you know your stuff, I think that's a brand. Your reputation is your brand.
Yes.
I did after that, and I don't think you need to establish, or I don't think you need to have a great Instagram page or a great LinkedIn page, because quoting another example, a lot of martial artists, when they fight, they try to do a lot of style, and really good while boxing the bag, but when they actually put in the ring with somebody else, their punches won't even reach a person. So that's style, no skill. So when you develop your own skill, you become the style. So when you have the skill to punch somebody's face out or tooth out, and finish the match within less than a minute, that itself is style.
Yes.
Like if I give you a very weird example, maybe Monica Seles, if you remember, from tennis.
Yeah.
She was the biggest rival against Steffi Graf in those days. I don't know if you were even born then, but yeah. She had that very vichitra, that grunt of hers, right? But the fact of the matter is that she became world #1. So it didn't matter, and that became a style. Similarly, the way Kangana Ranaut spoke English was weird, but today that she is at the place that she is, her English itself is a unique thing, right? So you don't really focus on building a brand, you focus on building yourself, then you become a brand.
Yes, agreed. So what success means to you?
I think if I'm happy at the end of the day, in whichever, like we just described outputs, So whether you have some 10 assets of your life, 10 pillars of your life, which is your family, your finance, your time, your health, your fitness, your career, your money, your other assets. And if you don't have to be plus in everything, you don't have to be excellent in it, and you cannot be, because life is going to be dynamic. Today I have no problems. Tomorrow I might walk on the road and a bike might just this thing, and I might not have a leg tomorrow. So so I think being average in all of these assets is what is success, rather than I have a great career but I have no time for my family, which is the scenario with a lot of people, right? Or I have a lot of time with my family but I have no money. So I think balance of all assets of your life is success, and I think one is always striving to achieve this balance. I think that is success in my head. If you had asked me this question as a teenager, I would have said the day I become the CEO of my own company is success.
Yeah, that I also used to say when I was a teenager. Yeah.
Because that's what we are fed, no? As kids. Unfortunately, as kids, education does not always make us very intelligent. This is the problem. Sometimes we are taught rubbish. We are taught
exactly.
that you have to go to college, you have to go to school, then you get a great job, and through all this you do hard work, and then you get married, and then you have that typical way of like a cattle, you just go like that, or like a donkey, you just go like that. And then when you're like, no, this is not what I want in life, and this is not the definition of success. Having so much money, but if I'm unhappy, if I'm unable to resolve issues in my head, if I don't have good relations with people around me, then it's really, I'm not successful. Or I have I'm rich, I have big family, but then I have a spoiled kidney. Then where's my health?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Point. Yeah. So you have such an amazing experience, and you have seen things happening in front of your eyes, right? So what is that one advice you would want to give the new people, the young people who want to come into this domain?
Into sales and marketing?
Yeah, into sales and marketing. Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to consider myself young still.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yes, you are.
Just saying. No, but I get your question. I was just trying to be funny there. I would say just don't stop learning. I think that is the only, and just don't stop learning. I think that's one.
Yeah.
Second, I think have gratitude, and especially in today's time, everybody is so like, I don't have this, I don't have that, I didn't get this promotion, I didn't get that from, I didn't get that project, and I'm getting so little salary. I think don't look outside, look within. So just have gratitude for what you have. I think that's the second thing. And I would say don't believe everything that you hear or see. For instance, if you're going to, and you guys have the luxury, we didn't have that luxury. When I say that, what I mean is, like, don't believe in everything that your tutors tell you, or your parents tell you. This is what it needs to be done. This is what there is a Buddha poem which I'm unable to kind of quote right now, but believe in nothing, not even your teachers. Believe in the logic of everything. If it makes sense to you, and not by your own illogical brain, because then the moment you say believe, if it makes sense to you, then people are very convenient, they're like, no, this doesn't make sense to me, I won't take it. And that's like opening it up to complete subjectivity. But be very objective and don't believe in what makes sense. I think that is a advice. Sounds more like gyan, but I think it makes sense even in in a very limited space like sales and marketing. Like, if the boss tells you, you come up with a great marketing campaign idea, and he said, "Ye chalega nahi, maine kiya tha 2 saal pehle, ye nahi chalega." You say, okay, let's try it. I mean, I'm sure maybe 2 years back it didn't make sense, but maybe 2 years now, we are, as a company, we are in a different space, so maybe this idea might just work. So that's what I would say. So, to summarize it, do not believe in, believe in logic, I would say. Just believe in logic. Yeah. I think would have gratitude, believe in logic, and constantly keep learning. I think these are 3 things. Yeah. For anybody, not just in sales and marketing, but any new young person joining the workforce, I would say. Yeah.
Wow, I'm already inspired by your lovely words.
I don't know if that was like code language, like, wow, ma'am, too much gyan ho gaya types.
No, not like that. So thank you so much for coming in here and sharing your journey. And I'm sure whenever the woman will watch this video, she will also get inspired.
I'm so glad.
Yeah. So thank you so much for
Thank you,
coming
Riya.
here and making it a huge success for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Riya. You've been a sweetheart. I've liked answering some of your questions. And yes, thank you very much for inviting me. The Navdurga series, very unique.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes.